I think it's somewhat favouring Validate, which it's interesting because, you know, you'd think any kind of team that SYF's going up against, they would be, you know, comfortable in, but obviously that's not the case. But we will jump into the hard point on throwback. We will see jump on board with Eminence off the rip. We will go towards this side track area very good early on, and then does win that one. Beeson does manage to make the food top food. As you see already, the kill feed lighting up the SYF players. Do manage to take early hard point time. It seemed to be relatively in control. You can see a lot of players from the Validate squad going towards that bowling area. Liam does manage to pick up one. Restoring, really trying to work for these spawns. This is very good for them because they're going towards the back end of the barn early and trying to flip it out. They do manage to make 2 kills, so they're definitely in for a shot here. And what you see so far, is it up in the air, Goldie, or do you think that, you know, SYF is still in control?
Well, it's very early stages, of course. SYF, they're able to get themselves out there early on, get those points and making those kills, especially Eminence right now on a 3-streak going 4-1. This point on Validate, they're not doing as much work as we should expect. They're really falling behind in the kills department. It will be Chileans. They're left to clean up the rest of the kill time. So going on towards this barn hard point, it should be Validate on there early enough, but we are actually going to see them take it. See if they're going to be quick to move their way in. Chileans trying to wrap their way around. He's able to find that first kill. Needs to follow up with more. Eminence going 5-2 for doing a lot of experiment. There we go. Chileans with another. Can he find a third kill? Looks to try and make his way in. Can't find the right opening. Eventually, though, we'll be able to get his way on. And SYF, they'll take control of the barn hard point just for the time being.
They managed to get a really good, you know, stack of points in that first hard point, and also managed to break it relatively early on. Already here, I'm not sure if you can hear in the background, but Chileans, he's that mighty roar right now. He's feeling the vibe. You can see right now, kills is coming in left, right, and center for SYF. As they do walk away, they've got a 30-point lead already, heading climbing. And you know, if they somewhat string the road hard point, you can feel this game could be quite a blowout. So you can see right now, Chilean just sitting towards this edge of the barn area. He's looking forward to the rotation. Huge gunfight towards his right area, rolling. Watch those that gunfight, fate too hot for him. So we'll make the rotation. Eminence win that gunfight against Beaston, and seems as though SYF right now feeling the energy right now. They seem to be making every single kill possible.
Yeah, doing really, really good work. Look at Eminence going 10-4, pulling himself ahead of the rest of his team, putting in those hard yards, trying to move Validate off. They've been unable to do anything so far, hardly getting any scrap time, only on 18 points. At this point in time, Eminence will actually put that scrap, looking to try and get information, moves his way around, spot out one, did spot out the player who managed to slip his way down the flanks there. That will allow some form of contest on this bike path hill. So they're looking to try and make an impact, but they're just unable to do so. They get themselves onto the point, but they're quickly shut down by SYF. Eventually, the kills will play for Validate, and they make their first successful push, but it's quick to be responded by as Fate is able to get a 2-piece.
Yeah, as you said that, it's very well shut down from there from SYF. It seems, as I said, as soon as Validate gets any sort of momentum, it seems like SYF just shutting it down very, very quickly. It's controlling this mid-map area. This is a vital position right now for the bowling hard point. Control this area. A lot of points. We'll get one, we'll get a second, and that's a huge 2-piece there for Buckerbeck. As you can see right now, rotation's already been made to the bowling hard point. This is the money hill for this map, of course. Get a lot of points on the board if you manage to make the kills early on. We'll get one. Beeson replies with a stomp on the ground. Stomp up his head. Beeson again. One turn up. Oh, and that was a huge 2-piece. Might even got a third there. Had he had the ammo, but Restoring managed to get that, and they're getting hype in the booth. You see right now, Zeppa working towards his bowling area, just trying to lock in the points, and this is vital time right now for Validate. They need to make sure they stay in the game. Can't allow any time to go astray like they did in the TM game. They seem to be getting lots of scraps on here. They can manage to get Crispy, you know, about a 20-point game going into the first rotation towards his mid-map.
Yeah, they are really not much response from SYF. Eventually 80 points, but it's not really enough as Validate have got themselves back into the game, which initially was like a very shaky start from them. 90 to 18 at one point, and now it's on 70, 104, so looking very, very intense now as Validate has stepped up that game. We're seeing Beeson and Restoring make those kills. The 2 players I actually mentioned, look at them, 11 and 9, 13 and 10, putting in that work. Killians is there to move in. Eminence there to follow things up. Zeppa is only able to get one in the mix, not enough for his team. SYF will take the train platform and hold it quite convincingly.
Yeah, most definitely. It's the lead right now. 13 just can't get any foothold in this game. Seems to be just carried out very, very quickly. As I say, does manage to get one, might even get a second towards the sidetrack area. Sliding across. Teammate does manage to pick that up. Rotation now coming into barn. Huge cover. We'll see one is traded out though. Seems that SYF just nailing down, you know, these spawns, locking it down pretty much momentarily. They're holding Validate, you know, at bay. They can't really do anything, but as I say, Validate have managed to make the rotation. This is going to be what you see because, you know, throughout this game so far, we've seen SYF make the kills early on and make the rotation early. So this is pretty much Validate's first rotation where they've actually won it. So let's see how they hold this right now. As you see right now, Restalling. Walking back to the barn area. He is shut down. Trades come in. Eminence does make a two-piece there, so pretty much back and forth in sort of train. Beeson, huge two-piece. Might have get a 30. He's got the ammo, but Fate makes it in. And he replies a huge two-piece of his own. So SYF walking away with this one now. 40-point lead in the barn hard point. Still 30 seconds left, and if they can manage to get the rest remaining this scrap time going into the road hard point, this game is going to be pretty much done.
SYF playing very well at this point in time. 150 to around 100 is a very good score at this point in time. SYF taking a very good lead, need to continue on hard point as Validate unable to do any work. Beeson, he's making the kills, but unfortunately can't follow up on that. Whereas he's going 9-17. It's not looking great for him. Even in that first series against TM, he didn't put in much work either. It tended to be Beeson who was putting in the work, and he's showing that once again. So you can sort of point out the weak links within Validate and who's playing strong, but really there's a lot up in the air at this point in time as the kills traded up across the board. Validate early onto bike path. SYF unable to get the foot in at this point in time. Gonna have to group up off of their respawns here, but Beeson and Liam doing a lot of work to shut them down. So at the moment, SYF, they're unable to get onto this hill. They've been shut out. Really, this is what Validate. They need to continue this. This is looking a lot closer than what I would have been expecting.
Yeah, and that's mainly because of the fact that how Beeson's going 22-16 right now. They're putting in a lot of slaying power. As you said, like, Beeson would be the man to watch. He's got that experience and it seems to be showing through here, helping his team, you know, somewhat stay in this game. It's very interesting to know, as I said, like, we watched him early in the week and he was actually looking very, very solid. Mental Fortitude was actually really, really good, and it seems as though he would be the one, you know, out of the two players that hadn't played on LAN yet, Restalling as well. He would be the one to step up. But it seems as though that's the opposite way around. It seems as though Restalling has actually turned up on this today and actually put somewhat, you know, some work in. It seems Liam just kind of struggling here. He can't really get a foothold in the game. Maybe just 3-game nerves or something. You know, he's playing against top teams in Oz, so it's not as an easy task by any means, but needs to find some sort of rhythm right now to get back in this game. It's only going down to a 25-point game now, so Validate somehow managed to get back in this game. Yeah,
doing very well to do so, especially with the start that they have. When they get the momentum going, they get the high building, like you can hear them, they get really into it, and like just like that, they're shutting down SYF. The early work from Eminence and Fate isn't enough to carry on as Validate are doing a lot of work. Liam eventually is able to get that kill. Overdrive is ready, but he is shut down. Baseball field will favour SYF for the time being. Getting back onto it, has to find contact with Zephyr, which he will do. Quickly traded out, however, as Chileans also moves into Fun Liam. So now it's going to be all up to these rotations. Who gets onto this next hard point? That could be the deciding factor. Whoever pulls themselves ahead now, SYF, they look to do so. But Validate, if they can get themselves in early, then it could be a completely different outcome. Last time we saw it go to the train platform, SYF had the majority of the control, so I don't know how Validate are going to face going up into this one. Restalling will move into that first kill. Has a lot more to follow up in, but it's really back and forth at the moment. Yeah,
trades coming in left, right, and center. It's same as though SYF might have the control of his hard point at the time being, but decided to just jump off it, and that's smart from them. Drain the clock a little bit, make sure you play for map control rather than play for the time. No point to get 1 or 2 seconds here rather than play for the map and maybe get like 10 or so instead. See right here, Validate staying in this game. They're making the kills that they need to make to get back in it. It seems like Bar and hardpoint is going to be the one that's going to decide if they can get back in this game or not. They need a very big chunk of time on that hardpoint, but it seems as though they're not going to win the rotation. Or, as I say that, thing is huge shooters that might help their cause. Faye does manage to pick him up though, so look at the mini-map right now. That's why they've all rotated, they all know where to set up right now for the barn hardpoint. 2 players starting through though, so see if they can shut him down. And Validate, perfect, you know, execution of the retake. They do have control now, so they can make these kills, you know, make maybe 1 or 2 waves. They're back in this game, and the trophy's down as well, so Halos can definitely come into play as well.
Yeah, a lot closer game than I would have thought. SYF, they took it to game 5 with the Chiefs, so I would have thought going up against a team like Validate, who fell 3-0 again, would be a lot more clear cut, but at the moment, it's really close, only a 20-point difference at this point in time. Eventually, SYF are there to pull themselves ahead, but Validate, they could be quick to respond, especially with the slaying power that Beaston has had. Look at that, 32 and 23. Man, it's a beast like his name describes, so has to move his way in. He's able to get one, eventually shut down Eminence. There to do some damage. Watch out, the Shadow on the third. Isn't able to take the kill just yet. Needs to move his way and doing excellent to hold this. The play will start and he gets a third, but eventually traded out. Kills will be favouring SYF as they pull themselves ahead and look to try and take this map.
Yeah, huge rotation now from Validate. Eminence went absolutely huge in that hard points. Look at his scoreboard as well. 33 and 26. He's offering up a lot of space now. He's on one right now. He's huge. He's doing a lot of work. He's singing another huge two-piece. It seems every time we jump on board with him, he's getting something crazy. I thought he just turned on him there. Buckerbeck just holding this hard point down. Huge two-piece right now. Not sure what Validate was doing. At least some sort of trade should have come in there. And you know, you'd think with the amount of utility that SYF have right now, they'd pretty much lock this game up with only 7 seconds.
Eventually, Validate are there to get themselves back in. Will it be enough? However, it's going to be contested for the time being. Eventually, Validate, they will get that time, but SYF, you'd expect them to get another foot in before this match is over. They will manage to put their foot down now, do get a couple points on, but they need to contest this beast. He's going to be left there to struggle away from Steelers to spawn in. That was a crucial kill for him. Has to turn around and get a second. Will he be able to find it? No, he won't. Buckerbeck with a two-piece and SYF. They're looking in to take this eventually, though. Validate, they've done well. Tested. They've kept themselves in this match. Very well done at that. Yeah,
insane rotation right now to come in from baseball. Every kill needs to go in favour of Validate if they want to have any shot at this. Any sort of wave clear now would pretty much be GG's. 1-0 towards Amy, but as I say, restoring. Does manage to get one. He's trying to stay alive now. Oh, he had to make that gunfight. Only man standing. Beaston. He's been an animal all series long. Has got reactive armor. Will get one. Might even get a second. Unfortunately, not the case. Guess needs to come in. Unfortunately, not the case. And SYF do take map 1. Hardpoint throwback 250-206.
Huge props to Validate going into that, especially Kingston. He was an absolute monster. And really, SYF, they were looking to struggle at one point in time. Eventually, though, SYF, they're only 5 points away from taking it, so they really didn't have to do much to get themselves over the line and take it, so they did well to do so. Validate, though, you got to give credit to them. They put up an excellent fight in that.
Most definitely. You can take a lot of positives out of that series, especially Beeson. You know, he was doing a lot of work, a lot of kills that got made. You know, they weren't easy gunfights by any means. He was making huge two-pieces left, right, and center, flying through the air and clutching up for his team. And it just seems as though if Validate can, the other 3 players, if he can get them to step up just that little bit more, they're definitely in this series, you know, especially coming into S&D, you know, up next. If they can manage to win that map, you know, going into an uplink, they can definitely get back in the series.
Yeah, but we're going to have to see going into S&D. Would you favour SYF going into, because they managed to beat out Chiefs on their first S&D in their previous series, and they did so pretty well. Like, they're a very organised team, whereas Validate, not so much. You know, you have 1 or 2 players going huge, but we said the same, well, Milboss and I said the same about Chiefs. Like, they shouldn't have been favoured in that final S&D, but yeah, they managed to take it and beat out SYF in that upper bracket, or I should say in their initial match. So now, how do you feel like they're going to go on this S&D?
I think SYF, it's definitely one of their better game modes. You know, you look at the kind of players they got on their team, you know, Buckerbeck, you know, Chileans as well. He's always been, you know, one of the really top players in the S&D department. So that's pretty much bread and butter stuff for him. So I can definitely see SYF taking, you know, a substantial lead early on. It's just whether, as I said, whether Validate can get in the series early on. It's pretty much been that way the entire day long. If they have to start off their maps very, very hot, otherwise they can't get back into it. You know, they take too long to get back into it, and then by the time they do, it's already too late. You know what I mean? Seeing that hard point, they let a lot of points go early, and then they try to get back into it, and by the time they, you know, got the momentum to get towards it, it was already too late, and then SYF could just been off, you know, scrap points. So if Validate want to have a chance to get back in this series, they most definitely have to. I feel they have to just like come out convincing. I think they have to be, you know, get three or four early rounds. If they can manage to do that, then they're definitely in it. But if SYF if it's going, you know, neck and neck, 1-on-1, then I think SYF is just going to walk away with it. But we will come up with that soon. I'm pretty sure it is, as I look at it, is S&D Crusher. So again, that is a map that, you know, it's pretty structured. You know, you will see most teams go towards that B site and then, you know, plant, and then it'll be a 4v4 on post plant.
Yeah, well, the thing is, going into this, like you said, if Validate can put their foot in early and get those initial rounds, then this should be gold. But SYF, they're a very convincing team on S&D from what we saw in their initial map going onto it, but then sort of fell apart on that second one against Chiefs. But still, you'd expect, just in the difference of how long they've played together and just how it's gone overall, you'd expect SYF to take it. So we are going to get underway here, going on to Crusher, and we are going to see SYF up 1-0 in the series for the time being. Validate, they need to respond quickly. They did well. Beaston, he needs to put in the same amount of work that he did previously to make up for a couple other players. Just slightly lacking behind. So going into this one, we're going to see the bomb run straight towards this Beast. Only one player there left to defend. That will be Liam. Rotation should be coming in here as shots are popped off initially. Looks like we will see that happen. The bomb already all the way over. So Validate, they've been shut out early, but it looks like they're going to play passively and wait to go on the retake.
Yeah, it seems like a very, very quick plant right now from the SYF lineup. And as we said, this is where it gets dangerous. And, you know, the 4v4 post-plant positioning is just about all about retaking. It's about, oh, huge gunfight. Nice E-Rad shots there from him. But it does manage to get one, and Beaston will get one as well. Huge gunfight here, as Seppa had to win that one. Restoring all by himself now. 1v2 situation. He has to get a defuse down. He's towards his side crates area. Might have a gunfight coming up. Going towards that bomb, and very well sorted out there from SYF. It looked a bit shaky there at the end. Seppa did manage to make an early kill, and I thought he might have even made the second one as well with E-Rad, but somehow back managed to come up clutch. And it seems as though SYF will take round one, but Validate, you know, positive signs again from them. They can still get in this game. They just need to get that synergy sorted early on, and this is going to be a true test right this now.
Yeah, like even then you saw Validate put up somewhat of a fight. Zeppa doing that work. It didn't look great at the start, and SYF sort of lacked towards the end of the round. They still managed to take it out, but Validate, you can see that they're able to do that work. They just need to find that missing link and be able to chain those kills together and chain the rounds together. So Eminence moving in with that first kill onto Beaston. Not a good start, as he has been their main fragger throughout this series so far. Buckerbeck will find Liam, so kills are going to be completely favouring SYF at the moment, finding two early on. And there is all going to be down to Restore. Left in the 1v4, and he'll get completely shut down, covered by all angles.
Yeah, not poor play there from Beaston, I think. I think he got a bit overzealous trying to make a kill towards that top bridge area. Not really needed. He got the information that he needed to do though towards that back A area, you know, setting up for an A defense, but you know, just decided to just push it and just give away free blood. And as he said, Beaston's been so influential on this Validate lineup. If anyone's needs to turn up for them to have some sort of shot, it is Beaston, because the amount of numbers he can put out is incredible. But SYF do manage to take that that round as well, and they will go 2-0 up. This is where it gets very, very dire right now for Validate. They need to win this round. If they don't win this, I can just see hot 6-0 coming in, because right now SYF are looking very, very confident. Their gunfights, pretty much winning the majority of the gunfights right now, and they're feeling confident. As I said, that's all because they've played a series beforehand, so they're already warm, they're already ready to go, and they've got the blood flowing. So right now, Fate does manage to make first blood, and Eminence will plant the bomb, and you can see right now all players working towards this back spawn area. They know this is the best vantage point right now for the bomb. Big gunfight coming in the middle. Restoring does come on huge gun, so now it is a bucket back 1v1, and Restoring does manage to make a trade. So Validate do get on the board, and that is a very crucial round for them. Yeah,
Restoring do a lot of work in that round, managed to find two, and excellently done at that. The defuse will come in 2-1, still favouring SYF, but Validate, they get themselves onto the board, and this is what they need. But like you said, is it going to be too late for them? Because if they don't get those initial rounds, it seems like confidence starts to fall. Of course, getting this round will be crucial for them. That'll boost their confidence just a little bit. But do you think they'll be able to carry this on and chain together a few more rounds?
I can definitely most definitely see them getting in this. I think the way they're playing right now, they're playing with confidence and conviction. They're committing to a site early on, and we've seen it a few times over the weekend that players will be very, very hesitant towards what site they're going for, but it seems as though Validate have a strict plan. They're just going straight towards the B site, they can get some kills and playing from there. But it seems like that's why they picked up on that. Chileans will get one, might even get a second here if he can jump over the crate. He's very, very tagged right now, so doesn't want to a bit too hard. Buckerbeck managed to wake one as well. And he's thrown out there from Chileans. Fake gets one, and last man standing lead easily dealt with, and that is a very big blow to Validate. They did manage to make one, get a bit of confidence, but then easily shut down there by SYF for the next round.
Yeah, SYF playing very well now, going up 3-1, shutting down whatever momentum Validate could have really gained, and really the kills have just been completely favouring them. We see SYF go strong early into the round, and that leaves Validate at a disadvantage. The only time we saw it go the opposite way was the round that Validate took, where they got the early kills. So I think going forward, if they can get the opening kills, Validate have a chance going into it. Die now as we are going to see back move in. We'll be able to get that first kill going towards the A site. We do see Eminence followed up. Zephyr finds one in the mix, but will it be enough? Buckerbeck is able to get his way around, but he left that far too late as Buckerbeck, you know, he did allow one of the players who was actually chasing to get a kill. So it's going to be down to a 1v1 as he will go for the rotation, but Restalling, he is on towards that B site. He was a player that I mentioned that could do some damage, but look at Buckerbeck. He's on fire at the moment, going 7-1. I don't see Restalling taking this.
Yeah, Buckerbeck is definitely a clutch player. I can definitely see him winning this, you know, 7-1 right now. He's got the RBR in hand as well, so if he does manage to like go towards this A site, then he'll be in a prime position because it's all close quarters there, and the RPR, if you know the gun, the rate of fire is so high, it's very, very deadly to all these close quarters gunfights. But you can see right now, it seems a stalemate. You know, both players not wanting to give up too much. I think Buckerbeck might think he might be rotating. As you can see in the minimap, that's not the case. He's, you know, right now you can see he's starting to move, but he's kind of leaving himself no time right now. 20 seconds to go right now, going towards the A site. But this is where he needs to get the bomb down quick, because if he doesn't get it down now, Restalling is just going to come around the corner and kill him before he can play it. Ooh, I think Restalling might just be committing to the... Oh, no, he's come to the bridge. So it's going to be a really quick gunfight here. Restalling has spotted him towards the mid-area. Buckerbeck just legging it out of there. Doesn't want to die. Oh, and Restalling does make that kill. So huge round right there for Validate. And you thought maybe if Buckerbeck got away, he might have had a shot, but Restalling, you know, seeing him nice and early on, managed to get that kill and Validate back in this game.
Yep, well played from Restalling as well. Comes in clutch and takes that 1v1. So that's a crucial round for Validate, because if they would have lost that, I'm sure SYF would have just absolutely steamrolled the rest of the map. And now that raises their confidence a little bit. Then you know, we're in this with a fighting chance. We're not going to fall apart like we did against Tainted Minds. We've at least got some form of fighting force. But Buckerbeck, I'm surprised he didn't get that going 7-1 at that point in time. He was looking hot, but Restalling comes out clutch and is able to take it. Beeson lagging behind a little bit into his S&D. Surprising considering what we saw on that hard point map. Maybe he needs to step up a bit for Validate to take the lead, but still the bomb goes down early. Zephyr is there to plant it on towards the A site. We do see Restalling fall back heavily down towards his spawn and wait for a flank. So he has that information for now that no one is going to be on the flank. He is able to cover his teammates back. Eventually, we're going to see Fate look to push in through mid, and now SYF look to try and close things down. Buckerbeck is going to go for that defuse. Is he going to stick it though? Yes, he is. Will he be able to get it? Oh, yeah. No? What?
Yeah, he's going to give it to his teammate. They managed to make all the kills, so give it to someone else, work towards their streaks, and SYF just nice and easy. And, you know, we mentioned Beeson, you know, 1-6 right now, and I think, you know, we didn't really touch on it too much, but you got to take into consideration that Beeson, you know, he's played with these SYF players, you know, a lot over the last 2 years, especially, you know, Chileans, you know, Fate, you know, so they pretty much know exactly how he plays, so they pretty much have a leg up on him, and it's the same for him. You know, you'd think that he, you know, the way they play, he could have some sort of information more so than what his teammates can, but it's just not the case right now. He's getting shut down too easy. You can see SYF running away with this one right now. See 4-2. Committing to this B side yet again. It seems as though Validate lagging towards his, you know, towards his B side, not really convicting to it, and you know, stopping the plan in any sort of situation. See right now, Chileans, nice little headshot now, expecting someone to come through that little alley towards the bomb site. 35 seconds going in, counting. Eminence has popped the specialist. I'm not sure what it was. I think it might be camo. We'll get one. Why did we get a second here towards the bomb? I don't think he's seen the guy going towards the bomb. We'll get a second. 2v2 situation. Reef again, might even get an ace here on the bomb. Huge right now. Eminence does manage to get traded. Will his teammate make the trade? Oh, Restalling is huge 2-piece, and he just let out a big roar there. 7-4 now, doing absolute work. Defuse will mean he gets a Scarab as well, and this is a must-win round for Validate now. 4-3, they're definitely back in it. Restalling's doing so much damage, just like you called.
With the play that Eminence made when he got those 3 kills, I was actually scared for Validate there, but they come through with the round. They're going to be feeling good about that. They managed to clutch it out off the kill from Restalling and is able to get the defuse. So it's looking like a much closer game than we would have expected. Like going into it, Validate, you would have thought, oh, okay, not much of a chance. But in the first hard point, what was it, 250 to around 200? They came out fighting. Same with this, 4-3 now, just narrowly favouring SYF.
And it's pretty interesting to note too. If you look at the SYF like the leaderboard right now, you know, they're all positive. No one dropping negative. If you look at the Validate lineup, the only person that's going positive right now is Restoring, and he's going +3. Beason's struggling. He's on a breadstick at the moment. Liam's struggling. Zeppa's struggling, but they're somehow still in the game. I don't know how that's happening, but SYF, it just seems as though, you know, they're letting the round sleep. And Zeppa gets a huge 2 as I said. He was struggling. Does manage to make that one, and again, Validate back in the game. This is where the confidence can kick in. They're starting to find a bit of rhythm. They're starting to hear their voice on the main stage, so they're definitely feeling it. They're definitely feeling they can get a shot in this run, and, you know, we thought that SYF, they were starting off, you know, relatively well. We thought we were going to pretty much steamroll this SD, but it seems as though Validate have something to say.
Yeah, they certainly do. You can see the work being put in. Zeppa going big in that round, Restoring. He's been the key player. So far it's been Restoring and Beaston in that hard point. And now Restoring going on to the S&D. But the problem is, can Validate carry forward? Because in the TM match, as soon as they got any form of points, they weren't able to make anything of it this time. They're going up against a team that have played together for, I'll probably say, a little less time, especially in this iteration of Call of Duty, I should say. The bomb does go down, however, so for Validate, I'm not sure how we're going to go forward with this. They got a bit more of a chance of adding what was Restoring. That was huge. And he's been the player to watch going into Search and Destroy. What?
I didn't realize that he actually managed to, you know, get all them full streaks. That streak coming huge right there as he gets huge triple kill there with the streak, and Validate finally taking the lead. So definitely in control now. And if you've seen in the score streak department, he still has 2 to work with. So, you know, a lot of utility there for the guys over at Validate to pretty much lock this map up and, you know, make it one apiece. But I wouldn't count SYF out yet. I've seen plenty of clutches from them, especially, you know, from likes of Chilean and Eminence. If anyone can do it, it's them. And as you can see right now, this is a huge round right now for Validate. You don't want to drop this, because if they do go to a round 11, anything can happen. And you do not want to lose, especially when you've got all that utility to use. Look at the scoreboard right now. Zeppa and Buckerbeck both have payloads. I'm pretty sure Zeppa's using that camouflage. I think Bucker might be using the FTL. So very, very convincing push towards this B bomb site. Plant will go down. Oh, will it? Looks like they might be trying to rotate towards this A bomb site. Maybe they're trying to bait it out. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're hesitating a lot right now. This is not good in any situation. Zeppa does manage to use the camo. We'll get one, and we said in the series before, you know, making just 1 kill isn't good enough. You've got to make a big play out of that. Liam will get 1, and Restoring gets 1 as well. And it looks as though Validate might finally get the map on the board, as they will make that kill in there, and that is 1 apiece.
That's huge for Validate going forward now, because now that they've got a map on the board, they know we've got a chance going into this. And really, after that performance, Restoring, he went off in that map. Yeah,
most definitely. I can think, you know, with the confidence that he got from that map, I can definitely see him start steamrolling now. I could definitely see it, because we said that, you know, if players are going to turn up, you know, you need that Beaston that. And, you know, so far we've seen the hard point was Beaston, and then Restoring turn up this map. What's going to happen if both players turn up? You know what I mean? If they get a map where they're both turning up and they're getting kills, and then, you know, you got, you know, both Zeppa and Liam just doing, you know, okay, you know, staying even, then they've got a shot in it. But it just seems as though right now they've only got, you know, 1 player going big, and then the other 3 players slacking off, and that's kind of not what you can do. They managed to get away with it this time, but I don't think it will happen in any other further series.
Yeah, it's not exactly a sustainable play if you're just relying on 1 player to go huge in that map. It was Restoring previously, it was Beaston. So like you said, if they can combine their forces, then Validate, they have a really strong fighting chance going forward, and that's what they need, because I feel like if they aren't going to coordinate themselves and they're relying on 1 player, they're not going to be able to close out against SYF. But really, there's a lot to be determined going forward here.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the uplink is definitely a huge map right now for Validate. If they lose this, I think, you know, going into the hard point, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. I don't think it'll be so close that it was in the first hard point. Yeah, it was 250, 204, relatively close, you know, but that was more so because of Validate starting off slow. But if, you know, if SYF take this map, like, I just don't think they have the you know, the mental fortitude to, you know, come back from that, you know, and get you know, win a hard point and then take it to the game 5 and also win that as well, you know what I mean? So they have to string, you know, a lot together. But if they can manage to win this uplink, they're definitely in the series, you know what I mean? Even if they do manage to lose the hard point, you know, take it to S&D, we just seen it then. They can clutch up. Like, then they got players that can clutch. So it's all about just getting to that situation. But, yeah, it's definitely seen. We've got to see from now, this uplink is definitely going to be a clear determinant of what's going to happen.
I really don't know how to feel also about SYF going on towards their uplinks, because I had a really poor performance in that previous one. Until the very end of the map where it was too late. They had like 15 seconds to put on 3 or 4 points to take the map, so that wasn't good enough from them. But previously we saw them when they were Prodigy take a very convincing win over Tainted Mind. So really, they've been up and down on their uplinks. The results on paper should say, you know, SYF, they're strong, but basing off of what we saw in that Chief series, I'm not sure what to expect.
Yeah, again, it's just about start. We said it plenty of times this series already. It's just about how Validate start off this series. You know, going into this next uplink map, you know, it is going to be on, you know, throwback. And we've seen it plenty of times throughout, you know, the CGPL, you know, online event. Like, just the amount of times that this map can go, you know, go down to the wire or come down to, like, you know, the last minute or so, and just summer play clutching up is, you know, the record was, you know, pretty high. So if Validate can somewhat stay in this game and not give up early points and, you know, take it towards that, you know, the second half, you know, that last 2.5 minutes, you can definitely get back in this game, but it's all going to be down here. As we'll see right now, Restoring working towards this mid-map. We'll manage to get one, but SYF managed to make 2 in return. So SYF will manage to make a lot of map control early on. You can see they're pushing towards this bowling area. Obviously the most favoured side. You want to push that towards that road, get a bit of control towards that, you know, the bowling area as well as the statue, and you can pretty much lock down them in the blue area. Just have one player watching the overextend the mid-map. But right now, it seems as though somehow Validate have managed to get out of the spawn trap. They will go towards this lemon area. Trying to put points on the board, as you will see Zeppa go towards lemon. Doesn't see anything just yet. Have a huge gunfight from Granny's. Doesn't make that kill, and unfortunately, SYF will clear out that base.
Yeah, well, the main thing for SYF is that they didn't really get on the offensive too much when they were going up against Chiefs. So we don't know what to expect from them when they do go on the offensive. We saw very little pushes whatsoever from them. They got shut down every time by Chiefs, so they're dangerous. If we see them go on the offensive a lot more, they can be very unpredictable, whereas Validate, they've really got to step up their game here. Of course, you've had 1 or 2 players performing, like you said, but they need to get off early to score. Look at that. It's going to go in favor of SYF to start Validate. It's not a good start for them. They're making kills, but not so much progress, as whenever they do go on the push, they're getting shut down. So a bit of a turnaround from what we saw on the previous series, but a lot to be determined here, as we do still have 3 minutes and 25 seconds left in this half.
Yeah, most definitely. And, you know, just if you look at recent performances from SYF, especially in, you know, the 2000 series, they've been very convincing, especially in the uplink as well, to be honest. And so if they can manage to get, you know, on the aggressive, we didn't see it too much in the Chi series. They managed to, you know, shut them down pretty well. But, you know, with a team like Validate, you know, we've seen it plenty of times that they, you know, allow players to get in, and if they can manage to, you know, string points early on, as you see another huge 1-pointer coming in from Buckebeck. If they manage to get points early on, then I just can see Validate crumbling. You know, playing off the back foot is never a good situation. And, you know, SYF, if they're on the front foot and feeling confident, they will string points together. So Validate right now have to get back in this game. Next points for them has to be an absolute must. You will see Beaston throw the ball towards the road. He is traded out though. Just right now, it seems as though they're playing with the ball, but they're not playing the wave kills. We've seen it, especially in the actual league with SSU. They were a team that did it a lot. You know, they think that, you know, the drone is the must, and they just go straight towards the portal with no disregard and not play the wave kills. You know, this is a game where we have to think smart. You have to push the ball up towards the grandma's area, make a few kills, and then work the drone, and then play off that. More so rather than just throwing the drone up and just hoping for the best.
Yeah, like, it's good to have a certain amount of objective play, but there's a little bit too much at times. You need to be clearing out those waves, and a team that do it extremely well are Chiefs. Like, we see them, Skriz Amigos on Mad Flanks, clears out all the waves, whereas, you know, Validate, we've not seen much from them. SYF, they've already got 2 points on the board, 2 1-pointers, and they're looking in good form at this point in time. They've allowed a huge gap as Eminence gets his way in. They need to get themselves in quickly. It will be Beaston. They're on the defense, and they allow for a 2-pointer. How could you let this happen, Validate? There was so much room for SYF to push through, and they let them make their move.
Yeah, some player, I'm not sure who it was, who was in the underpass, somehow managed to let that player slip by. 2-point play coming in from SYF, and that is absolutely poor form from Validate. They need to make sure they stay in this game, as I said at the start of the map, and it doesn't seem as they're going to be the case. Right now, it seems as though Chilean's just too hot to handle right now, as he almost made a huge 3-piece there. Liam, fortunate to get away with that. But right now, it seems as though everyone from SYF knows exactly the game plan. They know exactly where to go and who to kill. Liam right now, just doing a lot of work right now here. That's why he's making 3 kills now, he's on a streak. So he is doing a lot of base defense right now, but that's not what you want to be happening when you're down 4 points. It's not about base defense. You've got to make sure you're getting towards, you know, their portal instead. We'll see right now. They are pushing the drone right now, so promising signs right now. It might be getting shot in the back. Looks like they might go for a 1-point play. Zeppa a huge 20 right now. He will throw it, and he will get it in. So that is some saving grace for Validate right now, and they can definitely look forward to pushing from that.
It's something we talked about early on, how they need to get the initial points, and even when they don't get the initial points, they try to put some form of fight in, which they do, but really, it's never been enough unless they've got that initial start. They managed to get that previous S&D, but it was a bit of a struggle for them at times. SYF, they had some huge performances, but now they're up 4-1 going in towards half-time, and really, Validate, they've had not much impact whatsoever. We've got Beeson making his kills going into us, but really, there's just been not much aggression from them. They've been on the back foot and allowed SYF to take the majority of the kills and ground.
Yeah, it just seems as though, I think another thing we also haven't noted that, Validate, it doesn't seem as though they're running an ERAD. And especially on this map, if you can get into their base and, cause yourself a nuisance, make a few kills, it offers up a lot of aggression towards, the portal. And I think, if you put that, that ERAD in someone's hands like, Beeson or, even Restoring, you put it in their hands and, make them run around the map and just slay, that'll help their cause. They'll be able to get a little bit of mid-map control and, push the drone towards the portal, but it just doesn't seem that that's the case right now. You can see right now, 4-1 down in the second half. Saving grace for Validate right now. They are going towards good side though, so they can get a lot of points here if they manage to play well. The Chileans right now, just you hear him on the mains edge every time he gets a kill, pretty much screaming across and letting them know that he's here to stay. You see Zeppa finally does make 2 kills, and 2 kills do come in favour for Validate right now. So it's silver lining right now. Going towards that quarterback. As I say that every time I say that, Validate are in for a shot, it seems as SYF just too strong and managed to shut it down too nice and early.
Yeah, Validate, when they get into SYF's back lines, they seem to panic a little bit and really aren't sure where to go. And then they just allow for SYF to come in and clean up and then make their push before the respawns are even effective. So Validate, they need to step things up here. They need to be able to hold their ground when they do go for those pushes, which they haven't been able to do so far. So Beeson, he's making his kills, but I'm not sure if it's enough. He gets a 2-piece. Eventually, that will clear out the spawns. They will try and run the drone forward. Zeppa's there to try and follow things up, isn't able to make the kill, and that was going to be crucial. Beeson will follow it up with a kill onto Chileans. Bakaback and Eminence will move their way in. Fate is able to grab onto it. He's going to be pushing it forward. So SYF, once again, they shut things down. Validate, they don't seem to be able to hold their ground when they do go for those pushes. Yeah,
see, they had the right idea there. They pulled the drone up and made the kills, and just not making the kills. That's the big problem right now. Play again, look at the scoreboard. Restoring now, he's the one that's dropping off. So every single series, every single map we've seen in this series so far, there's always been one player lagging. There's just no consistency in this lineup. You can't have that. You need to make sure that every player is turning up, or at least going, average at least. He's pretty much just getting destroyed right now. He's 12 and 20, and every gunfight I've seen, from our point of view so far, he's looking shaky. He hasn't won anything yet. So the confidence right now must be shot. He's not playing to, from what we've seen, especially in the league. He was somewhat of a beast in the league as well. He was one player to watch. Would make a huge plays left, right, and center, but just can't seem to be getting that kind of play, at this LAN final. And I think it might be just because it is his first LAN. You know what I mean? That kind of inexperience coming into it. It's a completely different game. Instead of the comfortability that they have at home. It kind of plays in your mind a little bit, and I think that might be playing on him, just a little bit.
Yeah, no, that certainly is a factor to take into consideration. And Validate, this is where they need to step things up. They are going to make a push. Beeson, he's making his kills once again on his respawn. He seems to be very good in that department, but once again, they can't hold their ground, and SYF are there to shut things down. Restoring, attempts to make a push in, is able to get 2 kills, but it's far too late, as Eminence is already out with the drone pushed back towards middle map. Validate look to try and put their foot down and do some damage, unable to do so, left in some bad respawns. 2 minutes left from SYF. Although they're not putting more points on the board, they're holding their ground and they're shutting Validate down. Validate, they're getting the aggression, but the problem is they can't seem to finish things up and actually get those points on the board, which is really, it's been detrimental to them. They just haven't been able to follow things up. Yeah,
and this is a very do or die moment right now for Validate. They need to get some sort of points on the board. It seems like Zeppa will get a 1-point play. Might have probably got the 2-point if you try to die for it, but not worth the risk. Make it a 1-possession game, but this is where it gets really, really interesting. A minute 30 to go, 2-point game, and a lot of utility coming into play. A lot of camouflages coming in, FTLs, so a lot of players can get major points. Who's got the clutch back, so you can see right now, Fate does make a huge kill towards that road area. And you might even see another one for it and just get camera angled. Fate will work towards this middle map. Seems as though SYF in control right now. Beast does manage to make one, and Lee makes one also. Emma's going to pop this camo. This could be game right now. If he manages to make a point, he will throw the one. So now he's a 2-possession game with a minute to go.
Yeah, and this is it, Validate. They've been on the back foot for so long. They've allowed SYF to build up these streaks and their payloads, and now look at that. They're slipping their way in. Eminence moving in with the active camera. There was nothing that Validate could do. They couldn't spot him. He was just allowed clear rain straight in for that one-pointer. And this is where Validate struggle. When they don't get their foot in early, they're forced onto the back foot, and they can't come back from that. Yeah,
with 42 seconds to go in 2-position game, you've got to say this has got to be pretty much done right now, as we will be going into a hardpoint scorch up next. You know, going into that map, I think that, you know, Validate, they're definitely in for a shot, but I think, you know, you've got to have players like Beast and Restoring. We've said it series long that they need to turn up, and that is definitely a map you can. You know, the rotations are nice and clean, and if they can manage to do so nice and early, definitely get back in this one. But as I said, Zappa might get 2 points, but I wonder if we'll see the Optic Gaming comeback that we have seen before. They can manage to get this Beast, and we'll go towards. It has reactive armor as well, but it is shut down. So it's such a tough situation right now to get the points, and unfortunately not the case, as it will be SYF take this map 5-4 with the uplink on throwback.
It was fairly close as well, but you know, although the end score does say that SYF won at some point, Validate, they were down massively. So to come back from that, I think it was a little bit too late. Like we said, that they don't get their foot in early enough. They're left on the back foot. They can't do anything. We see them get themselves back into it, but it's far too late. Time and time again, we see that happen. So Validate, they need to change something going in towards this next map. Yeah,
I think it's just, what can I say? I think it's just the consistency. You always have one player lagging, and we've said it, you know, time and time again, but it's just not happening. You know, I think it might be because it is a new roster. If you look at the roster, it hasn't been a consistent roster for a long time. So there's no consistency. Like, there's not even consistency in the roster. So how's there going to be consistency in the game? So I think they need to just, I don't know, need to maybe like go out of the box, maybe try something new. Because that's the only way I can kind of see them getting back in this one. Because right now it seems as though everything they're trying to offer up, SYF just anting up and just beating them in a situation.
That's exactly right. And Validate, they've really got nothing to lose coming into this LAN because they're not exactly a squad that have been together for too long, really had much practice to put themselves into it. So they just got to come out with the most crazy strategies, because if they can use that unpredictability to gain an advantage over an organized team like SYF, then we could see them do a lot more work than what we're seeing at the moment. They're sort of going for clean-cut strategies, going for the usual that you'd see, rather than switching things up. And SYF, they're punishing them for that. Yeah,
most definitely. We did see it in the season as well. We've seen, you know, teams like SSU and also I think it was the old Validate squad, you know, the way they played the game was so unpredictable that it kind of caught the pro teams off, because, you know, when you play against another pro team, you know, the top 4 teams, they play in a certain way. They all try and play the exact same way, and so you kind of expect where players are. But if you play that unpredictability, you can kind of catch players off, maybe make 1 or 2 kills, and you can get towards that portal, and I think that's what has to happen right now. I think you have to see, you know, players like, you know, Beeson would be a player that you would watch for the flank. You know, players know that he likes to play a flank, but if you can maybe send like 2 maybe on the flank, try and catch him off, maybe make 2 or 3 kills and catch their hard point off, then you might be able to get back in the game. But, you know, for a map like Scorch, it's very rotation heavy. So if they don't manage to make the rotations, they're not going to get back in this game. And I think, again, they have to start off hot. If they have to win the first hard point and also go towards the back, you know, turbine as well, and win that one as well, if they have any shot at this. And if they don't, they're going to get pretty much done by SYF.
Yeah, but we're already underway here as SYF have taken the early scrap time. Validate were there first, but they haven't been able to follow up as SYF are quick to make some form of an impact, really. But I can see Validate looking to try and retake this. It's not looking good for them so far. Beeson moving with some kills. Eventually, Chilean's there with a 2-piece. Shuts Validate down for the time being. Completely forced off these respawns and really not able to get back onto bridge for this for the time being. Really spread out at this point in time, not really coordinating themselves. They are going to go out wide here to find anything. Beeson with another kill, so he's had a good start to this map, but it's not going to be enough just yet. We do see Fate peek around the corner. Chileans is there to take the kill. However, Zephyr moves his way in. Kills are going to favour Validate for the time being, but not the hill time at all, as we do see rotations come in. Moving on to this next hardpoint out towards Turbine, we are going to see Validate. Are going to be the first ones there, but Chileans, he's also there. He's able to retake that pretty quickly. Uses the Scarab for information. Will spot out one, does better damage, but still, it's risky popping a Scarab when you're the only one from your team on that hill. And, you know, you could get killed in the back from any point in time. Stalling, moving in 2 pieces. Chileans there. He gets taken down.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty much playing this near perfect off the rip, already up by 53 points, and we've only just rotated to the second hard point. So right now, Validate, again, we've said it so many times this series, they're starting off super slow, and that can't be the case. They need to get back in this game somehow. Restoring does manage to get on 4 kill streaks, so some saving grace right now for them, but isn't going to be enough. Liam will make one, has a huge contest come in. Restoring does manage to make his trade. So it seems like Validate going to get the rest of the scrap point going into this hangar hard point. 28 seconds, or 20 seconds, there will be the deficit going into it, but right now SYF have all rotated. It should be pretty much maximum time right now for them, as I can't see them losing this anytime soon.
Yeah, well, Hangar is one of those hills that is extremely difficult to actually retake. So a team like Validate, they're going to have an extremely strong push coming in the next couple of seconds. They're really going to have any form of impact going into this hard point, because really, they need to get themselves on these hills, and especially early on, because when SYF get there, they lock you out, they force you onto these bad spawns, and they really leave no room for Validate to do any damage, but the retake's there for Validate, and you are able to get a couple of points. Beaten is able to get one, gets stunned, isn't able to do any more restalling, takes out Eminence. Fate with that 2-piece will help his team out just a little bit. Validate are able to do a lot more damage than what we initially saw him to do, almost even out the scoreline. Liam without holding this hard point on his own for his team. That's come to back him in. Chillian's there, able to find that kill now. Gets a second as well. Eminence also following it up, so kills favor SYF. Only 6 seconds left on this Hangar. We will see the rotations come in.
Yeah, very good hangar hard point there from Validate. Managed to get back in this game. Started the game down pretty much 50 points, and they brought it back to about 16. And going towards this real hard point is pretty much anyone's game. Very contested, heavy hard point. As you will see, kills go left, right, center. Huge gunfight to go into deck. We'll stay alive here towards this thing. He also has a opportunity to work with as well, so Streak will come in very shortly, I'm assuming, towards that mid hard point. Zeppa does manage to make kill. Beast makes one of his own as well. Retake this in. Zeppa just can't make the kill, but Beast does manage to get his trade. So Validate again looking really good on their retakes, and this is what they need to be. They need to be on their A game if they want to have any shot at this. Chillian does manage to drops the streaks, and will get 2 kills of his own. And it seems as though right now CF is just trying to stay alive. Keep the positive going into this game, going into the next rotation. Pretty much take this game by a comfortable lead.
Validate moving their way on the drill. Only going to be 7 seconds left towards them. So still a lot to prove. SYF won't allow them to take any points off of the last few seconds. Instead, will hold that down immaculately. Moving on to this next hard point. Validate they need to be that early restoring. Zeb to get shot in the back. Not a good start. SYF get themselves back on. Eventually, it will be Beast trying to push his way in. They're going for solo pushes at the moment. Validate, they can't allow this to happen. If they go for solo pushes and get taken down, say if it doesn't work, then they're in a very difficult situation. They're 2-1 down at the moment in the series, and really they need to be playing this as a team and going together rather than going for these individual pushes. Fate finds 2. Zeppa is there in the mix, able to find 1, and Hill Time will be able to favor SYF just slightly. Validate, get themselves in on it, but aren't able to really capitalize on it too much. Restoring with the 2-piece won't be enough. Beaston follows it up now. Some kills are going to go for it in favor of Validate. 2 2-pieces, Restoring and Beaston doing some damage.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, vital for them not to go, 1 by 1 right now. It seems as though that in every hard point I've seen from them so far, they're very patchy. They'll go, 2 hard points, 3 hard points in a row where they're playing well, stringing hard points together, and playing the trades well. But then they'll go 2 or 3 hard points where they'll just go all individual and just no teamwork at all. And that's kind of the periods where they're slacking off. They're letting the points slip through, and they just can't have that. They've got to be in synergy the entire game, and it comes down to being a new roster. They're not going to have that synergy yet. Let's see, Chillians will make that kill. Everyone rotating towards the back alley area, and SYF just keep the lead climbing. They can keep stringing these points as long as it's going to be too hard for them to get them. We'll have a huge gunfight to come through. Zeppa does make 2. Buckebeck makes 2 of his own. There's a huge gunfight 1v1. Oh, and Buckebeck, huge streak piece there right there from him. So we'll pick up the remainder of the 23 seconds. But it does seem as though Validate, I'm not sure why they're thinking that it's a good idea to push this scrap time. We'll see right now. Fate does tend to take that, and it seems as though everyone could just be spawning out. He has a huge kill to go back hard point. Chillian does make that. You might even make a second one here. Just being a nuisance towards his back, hanging area. Right now, Chillian just oh, and that's a huge 2-beat from him. Somehow managed to just beam that guy. So right now, SYF in the driver's seat now to take this back.
Yeah, but Josh, I have to ask you one question. How are you feeling about Liam? We saw him do extremely well in warm-ups. Transitioning into the actual matches, he really hasn't had much of an impact. How are you feeling about that? What do you think is happening in his mind?
I think it's just coming down to comfortability. I think it's just exactly like that. From players like, you know, especially players that are new to LAN, they get the comfortability at home. You know what I mean? You're in your own apartment. You're in your comfort zone. You're kicking back, and you know you can play COD to the best of your ability. But then you get to LAN. You got people screaming in your ear. You've got distractions left, right, and center, and you know the pressure's on. So it's a lot harder to deal with, and it seems as though Liam right now just can't deal with it. And you know, but at the same time, it's like it's not as if he's playing any team bad. You know what I mean? Like if he was playing, teams that are lower tier and doing this, then I'd be a bit worried. But because he's coming into a LAN finals, he's playing teams that are of top quality, have plenty of LAN experience. I wouldn't be too stressed about it. And for him right now, and Validate, they're pretty much on the brink of being eliminated. But they can still take positives out of this, especially restoring a Liam. They can work. They've got their first LAN out of the way now, and they can look forward to the next events and use the experience that they have got to make sure they can get the results.
Yeah, well now SYF, they are going to be moving on to drill. 40 seconds left, a lot of time to do. They could close it out now, well maybe not, but still. Validate can put their foot in now, they might just have somewhat of a chance. Liam, of course, falls behind for Validate, needing to step it up just a little bit. We haven't seen much of an impact from him, like we've just been discussing. We do eventually see Eminence move in with that two-piece. Reef doing a lot of work, needs to somehow find more. 15 seconds left on drill. Fun kill. Buckerbeck is there in the mix. It's going to be 240 to 105. Can SYF close this out? Validate, they need to get themselves on, but they also need to get themselves onto this next rotation. There's only 4 seconds left. Eventually, the kills will favor SYF. Can they close it out? No, it goes to the next hill, but will they be there early enough? We go on to bridge, and that's going to be it. SYF, no, and they eventually get it. SYF, they eliminate Validate.
Yeah, and that is Validate out of the tournament, and I think it's kind of the general consensus from pretty much everyone that they thought the Validate were going to come into it, but they provided somewhat of a fight. I think they definitely had a lot more to offer. I think if it wasn't just such LAN finals and it was more so just like over a 2-day event and they were playing a lot of COD, I think they might have actually had a chance. I think they might have got a little bit of rhythm, but these tournaments, there's no room for error. You can't go into a series where you know that if you lose that you've got a buffer, you can get it back into the game, but they just couldn't get back into it. After the loss to TM, it just seemed as though the confidence was shot and they just couldn't find a footing in the next game.
Yeah, because like you said, it differs completely from the online play because you have multiple chances. You have a whole, 7 weeks or so to play, whereas going on to LAN, you lose two series, you're out.
Yeah, that's it, and it just seems as though they couldn't get a footing in it. But SYF do move on, to that to the losers bracket, and of course they will play the loser of Tainted Minds and Chiefs, and that series is going to be a good one because I think, if SYF do manage to play Chiefs again, I think they'll definitely have, I think it'll be a lot closer in the series. I think it'll again go to Game 5, but I think SYF might edge it out.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to see as SYF continue up the losers bracket and eliminate Validate.
Yeah, that's it. Of course, that is the end of that series, but, we will go for a quick commercial break and we'll be back, very shortly for the Tainted Minds versus Chiefs series. Don't go anywhere. We're back soon.